Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I'll be exploring Gerd in this video, and we'll also be looking at how the Mediterranean diet will be helpful in preventing symptoms of Gerd. So, what is Gerd? Gerd stands for gastroesophageal reflux disease, and this is just a chronic condition of acid reflux that affects around 28% of the Western population. So in healthy individuals, we all have the a sphincter that sits at the bottom of our esophagus. This is called the lower esophageal sphincter, and its function is to open to allow for the passage of food into the stomach after we swallow it and after it goes down our esophagus. So after the food gets into the stomach, the sphincter closes and the diaphragm then will pinch it shut. And this is supposed to protect the esophagus from any stomach acid. However, if the sphincter is loose and relaxed, then food is able to push upwards through the opening, as well as acid from the stomach. And this is what causes acid reflux. So over time, as the esophagus is repeatedly exposed to gastric acid, then the esophageal lining will become irritated, and this will weaken the LES, therefore continuing the cycle that ultimately leads to the onset of GERD. So what exactly causes the sphincter to lose its function? While there is no one single cause of GERD, the diet really does play a huge role in either minimizing or worsening symptoms. And there are other causes, such as age, genetics, but for the purpose of this video, I'll only be focusing on the diet. So when we eat food, the hormone gastrin is released and it stimulates the epithelial cells in the stomach to release hydrochloric acid. And this is what activates pepsin to digest proteins. So this acid is what causes acid reflux in our stomach. And this is caused by a diet that is highly acidic and have high amounts of fat and salt or spices even, because these will be tougher on the stomach to digest. So foods that are fried and fatty are they take a longer time to digest because of the process that goes on with the fatty molecules. And this ultimately causes the protons in the stomach to produce more acid, and it increases the chances of it flowing back up into the esophagus. Overeating will also worsen symptoms of acid reflux because of the pressure from the high volume of food that's staying in the stomach for a longer period of time. And also consuming a lot of alcohol and caffeine, those will also cause the sphincter to relax, and this will make you more susceptible to acid reflux. So how do we prevent this from happening? Or if you have GERD, how can you help treat it, um, with the diet? Again, there are many treatments, many things you can do to treat GERD, such as, medications, other factors, but we'll only be focusing on the diet. So your diet should be full of foods that are alkaline and high in fiber because these really help with GERD. So these can be like non-citrus fruits like bananas, melons, apples, or grapes, or root vegetables such as beets, carrots, sweet potatoes, or green vegetables like asparagus, broccoli, green beans. And because these are all alkaline foods and they're high in fiber, they will, they will have a high pH and they can offset the low pH stomach acid. And then fiber in foods like oatmeal and brown rice, these fiber gives the feeling of fullness so that you're less likely to overeat. And then and work and not overwork your stomach. So what's great about the Mediterranean diet is that it meets all these guidelines. So it would have a positive effect in reducing acid reflux and therefore preventing GERD. So the Mediterranean diet is made up of fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, fish, and olive oil. So those 4 or 5 um, things are the main backbone of this diet. And there's also moderate amounts of dairy and alcohol, and very little to no added sugars, processed foods, or red meat. So as you can see, this diet is very alkaline and high in fiber, which means it would be easy to digest. So it would reduce the stomach pressure and then minimize the risk of the sphincter opening for stomach acid overflow into the esophagus. So what should you do if you have GERD? Um, like I said before, there are several potential factors that can contribute to this disease, and it can also be treated with many different um, like you have many different options to treat it, but we'll only be focusing on the diet. So maintaining an alkaline diet that is high in fiber, like I said before, can significantly reduce the risk of weakening the sphincter because of, it's easy to digest. And there was actually a study done in Albania where they took a survey of how many people actually had GERD, and they found that 12% of the Albanian population was reported to have this disease, and they all were following the Mediterranean diet. So this is around half of the Western population that has GERD, and you can see really the effect that following this diet does have on preventing and managing this disease. So another thing, you should also avoid your trigger foods. So everyone has um, different trigger foods for them depending on your body. But like I mentioned before, the most common ones are alcohol, caffeine, spicy foods, and also carbonated beverages. So whatever you find is causing symptoms, just make sure to avoid them and um, follow the alkaline diet as well as a high fiber diet. And you should also eat small, frequent meals throughout the day rather than eating 3 big meals to, again, avoid overworking the stomach. And also lying down, you should avoid lying down within 1 to 2 hours after eating just to give your body time to digest the food so that it's out of the stomach and does not flow back up into the esophagus. So improving your diet can really go a long way in helping you manage your symptoms, and it can even eliminate the need for medications in the long run.